And we're live.
Live with the quickness on Wednesday. It's that time to talk about penguins and Linux and all the fun stuff. You know what's here. What's going on, everyone? Middle of the week. Hey, you're supposed to be working. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get back to work. No, don't. Come on, man. Come hang out with us.
Hey, everyone. I was working until 3 hours ago.
Hi.
Hi, Steve husband.
Oh, man. It's going to...
Hello,
everyone. Boo. That's scary. It's terrifying. Man, we got a little bit of a show. Some things are still going on in the world of open source.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. When the rest of the world stopped, it's like, oh, the stuff that people do at home, all of a sudden there's a lot happening. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's definitely like that first 2 week lull, then people get bored. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I've had my vacation. Let's go.
Gotten that out of my system. All right. Let's put that.
Yay.
I've spent... I can do the XKCD chart with like quality of life versus actually typing in GDB.
Yeah, no. Whenever you type in GDB or Valgrind or any debugger, really, it's like, oh god, what happened?
Yeah, especially like, well, that makes it lock up reliably. Will you generate any useful information from the logs? How about strace? Nope. Okay, fine.
Hi, Scoots. Oh, I will be right back.
All right.
Taco clock.
I managed to figure out that it was the random, like, skipping whenever I was listening to a video on YouTube. There was like a 1/10 of a second, not even that sometimes, that would just... It's like, the hell is causing that? It was random too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was the ZMod kernel. Screw that.
Oh, you mean one of those rando janky kernels that you were running? That I've griped about for, what, 2 or 3 years? Those?
I tried the Zen kernel, but that doesn't like SSDs all that much. At least not by default. The Zen mod I tried, it's like, oh, okay, so... As far as game performance goes, yeah, there was a very minor but noticeable increase in the FERPs. So, okay. But then that weirdness, I started to notice it, and then I started to notice it all the time. It's like, nope, it's gotta go.
Aww.
So I'm back on the mainline kernel.
Why don't you just recompile the, or just build a current kernel? I'm genuinely curious, because it takes 12 minutes. And that's...
You have more cores than I do.
I'm talking full loop, man. I mean, you know, just pull your existing config, download a new kernel, boop, boop, boop. Set your timer, set it for low latency preempt. What else would I do when I'm in there? Change it. Well, it's probably going to be a generic x86 64. Make sure you have HPET enabled, and yeah, pop out of that. Copy the keys into your config, and make install. Then there's a little Debian script I have that just goes ahead and generates the deb packages because I'm lazy. I'm like, boop, boop. It's really good for organizing, though.
Yeah, might be worth a shot. Oh, I do have El Cheapo just for that. That's the mess around PC before I do anything on this one.
I don't know. It could be part of, you know, I just come from a time from, if you wanted a new kernel, you either waited for a new release or you built it yourself. And now it's so easy to build. There's make install now. That's not a thing I grew up with.
You can make install menu and you get the curses menu. It's like, oh, look.
Nope, baby. I was running Xconfig in the 90s, and I'm running Xconfig now. If I have that GUI, I'm going to use it. I don't need it, but I like it. I got Control F. There we go. Got my things. I'm done. Hey, the channel you're watching just started a new block, and that would be cool. What?
I've had Twitch ask me whether I want to watch a stream that I just started, that I'm currently watching. Oh, yeah.
Oh. How dare you accuse me of paying attention?
Yeah, it's like, oh, we had a stream, but now it's still the same stream, but it's a different thing, like a different segment. That would be nice, Twitch.
That is definitely one thing about Twitch, is you basically get that first notification, and that's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Aw. Hi, Artherin. Yeah, I'm using the same mug. I love this thing. It's so cute. The laser gun and spaceship. Yep, rockets and ray guns.
Of course, I'm the target.
Let me pull that down. I'm going to get a drink, then we are going to get right into it.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
get what the getting is, as they say, good.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
No, Scoots, it wasn't podcast merch, but it was a gift to me at Christmas. That would be cool, podcast merch. Have Linux Gamecast on the side. That would be kind of cool. It would be expensive podcast
Teespring's
merch,
novelty mugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teespring's novelty mugs don't really expand to a vaguely robot shaped mug.
Yeah.
With the word, cocaine on it.
You can imagine the cost they'd sell it at too. $60.
Yeah.
Oh, the Rockets and Ray Guns podcast. Yeah. Yeah, Tom Merritt. Yeah, I listen to a lot of his podcasts.
Mir is not my biggest fan, but it's certainly going to be the one that cools me the most when the heat finally decides to stick around.
I'm on Discord scroll. I hate that.
During the streams, it gets to a point after people start talking, it's like, alright, I'm just reading the Twitch chat now, alright?
Yeah.
That's a very good question, Arthur. We're nowhere near the end, if that's what you're wondering. Yep, you did get me both of those, so...
One.
Adam RPG and Outward.
Right after you finished Hyperlight Drifter.
I tried, man, I did. The moment it started crashing on me, it's like, alright, that's 2 streams of it just crashing all the time, so nope, goodbye.
Yeah. So like you, Pedro, for Jordan's stream, I have Twitch chat on now because of that scrolling issue with the latest one of the latest updates of Discord. Annoying.
Yeah, I usually have the dashboard open, it's just that the video itself is paused, so it doesn't have any performance issues.
Yeah, I do the same.
But
Except
yeah,
when
no,
I have to monitor.
Chat, it scrolls.
Yeah, it scrolls properly. a few times. I still occasionally use IRC too for that because it's easy to read.
All right.
Mhm.
Let's do this, kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Locked and loaded. Click and clacked. In 3, 2, and welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that minute-week break, and talk about some of the fun things we found going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vin, that's Jill, and that is Pedro. Together with you live.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Is it another great day for Linux? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Middle of the
Happy
week.
Linux Wednesday.
Supposed to be at work, watching this. Maybe. I don't know. What's everyone up to, man? Pedro, you didn't write anything, so you go first.
Okay. Well, yesterday there was more Dark Souls, and I finally tracked down a significant issue that was minuscule, but yeah, my life
hang on. I don't think I heard you correctly. A significant issue that was minuscule.
Yes. Namely, randomly, there would be some sort of hiccup on my system, and if I was playing a video on YouTube, there would be like less than 1/10 of a second audio delay where the same sound would just repeat for like teeny tiny little amount. But I started to notice it, and then I started to notice it all the time whenever it happens. Like, God, that's annoying. So I finally rebooted into just the default mainline kernel that the KDE Neon distro, what I'm using, just ships with. And I waited, and everything worked fine. And I kept waiting, and everything kept working fine. And as it turns out, it was the ZenMod kernel that was installed, because I got rid of that, and no issues ever thus far. So yeah, no, ZenMod kernel, not good.
Takes a big man, Pedro. Takes a big man.
It's not good.
Jill, have you done anything recently?
Oh gosh, yeah, I've done lots of podcasts, including Linux Unplugged on Jupiter Broadcasting yesterday, but also was on Big Daddy Linux Live. European.
European.
European, yes.
It's like a Lilliputian, but with more Euro.
Yeah.
It's like the Lilliputians, but they're Europeans.
So Big Daddy Linux Live European Edition last Saturday, and we had Popey and Wimpy on as guests, and that was a lot of fun talking about the latest Ubuntu Mate 2004 and how beautifully it's running, and it's running on my machine right now. And it's also really been fun having I'm having a great time playing Serious Sam 2 on Jordan's stream on Thursdays. And so we've been having such a great time with that. And if anyone wants to join in and play, come on in.
Oh, the Sam that never made it to Linux is on Linux.
Yeah,
Through the
but it's
power of
awesome.
Proton.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And it's
cool,
one of my
man.
favorites.
So, to my brothers and sisters out there, if you know anybody that like works in the OBS development team, like, see maybe if they'd take a look at my bug report with this DeckLink quad, because it's got issues only with OBS, not with the Blackmagic software. I mean, it shouldn't. So I've been trying to figure out exactly what's causing some of the issues with that piece of hardware, because nothing bugs you more than a bug.
Yes.
Yes. It's right there in the name.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I should have read the cliff notes. Like, wait a minute. Yes, this is irritating me. And I want to make sure that, you know, I'd be happier if it was reproducible across like different software applications, right? It's not. But yeah, that's what I've been doing probably for like a solid week and a half, is trying to get this thing sorted out, figuring out, because what do you think? Then it's like, oh, is there some random hardware configure? Then your brain just spirals out of control. Oh, maybe it's because you have a USB-C plugged into the video card. That, yes, clear that. You just go down that nasty rabbit hole. So that's kind of where I'm at. Also, I've seen a lot of people complaining, man, about the what's the new AMD chip that's coming out? The new hotness, the AM3 or AM2 Plus,
AM4.
AM4.
Or
But it's the B550 motherboards and how they will not support the original Ryzen's and the Ryzen Plus. So if you, or even the 3200 and the 3400G,
Okay.
because they're basically Ryzen Plus. So yeah.
Are you really upset about that? I mean, I have a B3 audio box, this B350 with the original 1700. I know you kind of took the, like, when Zen 2
Two.
yeah,
Zen
came
2.
out, and
Yeah.
you were thinking, maybe it'll work.
And it does, the 3700X on the Asus Prime B350. It works. I mean, you're stuck at 3200 megahertz RAM, but it works.
I think that's pretty decent, man. With the B350, you got Zen Plus, and Zen 2, right?
Yep.
So maybe calm down. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's people like the new AMD processors Zen 3 as it's coming out that will not be supported on either the 300 or the 400 series.
Cry me a river.
yeah.
Rivers, cry them to me. As I stand here. What am I holding, Pedro?
You're holding an X399 TR4 Threadripper motherboard
Yes.
Nice.
that supports first and second generation Threadripper.
Only used just under $400. So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You got 3 generations out of. Just be happy.
Yeah. It's an amazing motherboard.
Aside from the point, but
Yeah.
feel free to send your hate mail and all that beautiful stuff about that. So let's get into some Linuxy stuff, starting with the desktop Linux. Now has the highest market share ever.
It does. And as usual, whenever these bits of news come out, although this one, just now I'm looking at the date, March 14th, 2019. But yeah, so according to the stats from Net Market Share, you see that there's a bump in Linux usage. And they say that in May 2017, it started with 199, and in June, it started with 236. In July, it jumped a little bit to 253. And then, of course, in August, Linux market sort of kind of capped out at 3.37% market share. So that's significant. And they asked the questions like, Chromebooks, do they help Linux market share? And yeah, from 2019 to now, I have no idea. No one's actually said whether like a definite yes or no as to what Chrome OS. But yeah, and there's always an upsurge around late summer, August, early September. There's always a bit of a surge in Linux market share. So that's not completely unheard of. And I'm sure if Chromebooks are being counted, they will play a major part on it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we can't accurately track desktop Linux because of the nature of Linux being able to share it with USB flash drives and whatnot. But since people are home in quarantine, they have more time on their hands to play with the desktop version of the operating system that they use at work. And also, the people who were curious about Linux now have the time to play with it. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a big bump, because people are home and in quarantine and looking for something new to explore.
Looking for any excuse possible to escape from Windows. No.
Yeah.
If you
I don't blame them.
Yes.
break down the number game, we're looking at a 0.95% increase, almost 1%. Which, this is very good considering, I mean, we have Dell, we have System 76, and maybe a little Lenovo on the side that you can get pre-configured. Everybody else is going out there doing it themselves. And it's interesting news. It's interesting news.
Yeah.
And I think we're just going to see it grow more and more, especially with Apple going, yeah, we don't like making compute by another iDevice.
Yeah, we don't want to make, the traditional computers anymore. No more desktops, no more laptops. I mean, they did price their desktop at like $50,000. So, yeah, they clearly don't want to sell many of them.
Don't worry, I'm saving up, man. I want to buy a wheel. Just one. I can't get four.
Just the one caster, yeah.
Just one.
Okay.
Big umbrella. Hey, no one will have any issues with anything we're about to talk about.
Oh, no, absolutely not. So, Tom's Hardware. Apparently it was a slow news day, and Axelson decided, you know what, let's just throw some random scores at a bunch of desktop operating systems for the Linux operating system. He decided to sort of do a very...
Tom's Hardware, really?
Yeah, that video. Yeah. It's annoying. And he decided to, have a look at what is a fairly odd assortment of DEs. Mm-hmm. He decided to have a look at KDE, GNOME, Cinnamon, Regolith, and Awesome. So now I can hear everyone shouting already. Aren't those last two? Isn't Regolith just i3, and isn't Awesome also just a window manager? It's like, correct. Right you are. However, he does go through the list, and he gives his opinion. It's like, okay, this is nice here, this is nice there, this has got more extensions, this has got different things. And apparently Cinnamon wins, according to Matt's here. Now my question is, where's XFC?
Yes.
And
Another question on top of that, where's Mate?
Listen. Hey, man. Oh, this might be about as subjective as our chair position on Saturdays.
It is.
Just kind of share our personal opinion. And, also, I was like, I could sit back and maybe take some of this, read them to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, we're using eye candy as a metric? Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. But maybe you could skip, hear me out, you could skip a desktop manager like XFCE if you're just going to do the mainline ones, none of the cool hipster desktop managers.
Just the popular ones. Okay.
Yeah, what the kids are using these days. But when you throw things in like Awesome and Regolith, like, what?
Yes.
Huh?
It's like, those aren't even desktop environments.
Hey,
it's like
man.
Linux desktop environment face-off. Those are window managers.
Yes.
Speed and stability, two things I look for in a DM because, it gets stuff done. And I'm not here to watch nonsense sparkle. No. Joe?
Yeah. So, I say apt-get install XFCE4, window maker, FlexBoss, Enlightenment, the window manager or desktop environment of your choice. And actually, XFCE is one of the most popular desktops within the Linux community. So, it needs to be on that list. Yes.
Subjective statement there.
Oh. And yes, as Pedro was saying, Awesome is an X window manager, not a DE. So he got confused on his use of terminology there.
Also, if you're playing games while using Awesome, I would say totally take a screenshot and go show it to Iculus on Twitter. Just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's still an article. Read it for what it's worth. But I imagine anybody reads something like that just to see if the one they use is on there and what somebody thought about it.
It's like Regolith and Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey.
Listen, man, I would love to be able to use Enlightenment, but it's got its own issues that.
It's got a lot of issues. That's the problem.
Really nice compositor, though.
Beautiful compositor, yes.
Maybe it would run good on a Nook-sized
Yeah, maybe it'll run good on the.
They usually do, because as far as Linux goes, it tends to work very well in the teeny tiny little, almost thin client-sized boxes. But this isn't a thin client, this is a full-on computer. This is the Purism Librem Mini, and it's a small form factor mini PC that puts freedom, privacy, and security first. So yes, it is a glorified NUC with all of the stuff that Librem usually does to their computers, which is they do core boot, and they try and remove as much of the proprietary black boxy software or firmware that the Intel platform comes loaded with. Very good on them. Very good. What isn't very good, it's the price.
No, come on.
Ben?
No. I mean, we're talking about an i7, 8565U. That's whiskey dick. 4-core, 8-thread, 4.6 UHD graphics, 2400 megahertz DDR4. What do we have in storage? A couple of things. One HDMI, video port, 4 USB 3, one networking. Gonna be honest with you, first thing I saw was like, man, that is exactly one Etherdoodle port away from me wanting it. But
Yeah.
it does have Bluetooth, and it's NUC size, right? But 2 pagers point. Yeah.
Yeah,
$6.99.
yeah, it's a lot of money.
9. And, hey, things like this, small things come at a premium. But, that's what prevented me from getting NUCs for these Optiplexes down here. Because to get roughly
price.
that was going to cost like 4 times more. But I can get a lot of NUC for $700, right?
For $700, I actually went to PC Part Picker and I added the ASRock Desk Mini A300, which is just a case with the power supply and the power brick and a motherboard. You have to supply your own RAM, processor, and SSDs. And I managed to put 2 complete ones together using the same basic settings that this comes configured with the 2400G, the same processor that I currently have on my Steam box. And that added up, just a single one of those systems with 8 gigs of RAM, a
wait a minute.
250
Okay.
gig
Yeah.
SSD.
Look at that total.
Check it. Did you see the price on the keyboard and mouse?
No.
Take a look at that right quick. I want to get your reaction.
Oh,
Okay, let me go down, scroll,
It's live.
keyboard and my...
yeah.
Yeah,
See,
right?
I was going to make a comment as to what kind of psychotropics these people were on when they decided that the M.2 SATA 250 gig SSD was worth $60, which, fair enough. But the 2.5-inch regular, one of these 250 gig SSDs is $130. This, in 2015, cost me 40 euros.
You know what? That's
kind-
laughable. That's laughable. Because you know what? I'm going to get $100 keyboard and mouse combo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but no.
For the hardware itself, because you're going to be paying that little bit of a premium.
Yeah.
I could see if this was something that you were looking to pick up. You're like, hey, I want a NUC. I want to support these guys. I want the open core, open boot firmware and all that. I could eat that cost, but what's up with the keyboard and mouse? Seriously, is that like a mechanical keyboard with
DSSDs? Why is the M.2 SATA
Yeah.
SSD $60 while the regular one is $130?
Apple Logic?
Yeah, I was gonna say you might as well just buy a Mac Mini, which I have several of.
You would need like 2 wheels.
Yeah.
How much is that?
Yes.
How much is that? The bottle caps. How much is that in casters?
Wasn't it like $700
It's like
for
$700
the
for
4
a set,
casters? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one set of wheels. That's 4
Divide
wheels.
that by 4. There you go.
Well, the good news is that it looks to be more of a finished product than their phone. So that's a plus.
Oh, Jill, rub it in.
It's cold, man. Don't hit them when they're down.
And yeah, I was actually amazed. The Librem did make over their pre-order goal of 50K. They're at like 90 something K now. So that
No, I
was
think it's
actually-
good. And the
yeah,
one thing
that's
you can
good.
send is they deliver product.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
they do. And
as long as it's
their
not a phone.
computers,
Yeah.
yeah, their computers. You're paying a premium for
Yeah,
their
their
trouble
servers and-
of actually doing the work to get rid of all the proprietary crap. So that's still way too much money. No.
Yeah.
Well, it's already funded, so cool.
Yeah, no, they're
No.
making it, so good on them.
Good on them. That's all I gotta say, man. New version of Debian 10.4 is out. It changes everything. It's brand new. It's super shiny. It's probably just a security update, and that's pretty much what it is, man. Security updates galore. If everything goes right, and it should, it's Debian. I've updated the box we're broadcasting from right now. You'll never know anything changed, and it didn't. And that's how I like it. And yeah, man, just a bunch of little updates, libssh, just stuff that behind the scenes things you're not going to notice. Jill, you did say there was an update for the legacy driver
Yeah.
or the NVIDIA. Yeah.
So, at least they're, Debian may be deprecating driver support for lots of the older GPUs, like the ATI Rage video card we talked about 2 weeks ago, but it will still maintain support for older NVIDIA cards via the proprietary NVIDIA drivers. So I was really happy to see that they had updated those for my older machines. And
That's what NVIDIA's doing, though.
Yeah, it is. But at least Debian is including those now. So
That is good. Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
the legacy
Fedora.
stuff?
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, legacy's always
Well,
been a thing. That's
yeah, but the NVIDIA drivers.
yeah, legacy
Yeah,
NVIDIA's
the
been a thing.
390.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 390
and
drivers that
340.
got updated
Yep.
to support a bunch of the old cards, which is nice.
Yeah.
At that point, if you got something that's running on that, I don't know if 3D acceleration's try the Nuvo.
Remember that 560 Ti or those two 560 Ti's that you had when I joined Linux Gamecast?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need those drivers to run it now.
Yeah.
I'd use Nuvo on my Quadros. Works just fine, though.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just not so good for gaming. And you can game on those old cards.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
You could eat soup with a fork as well. It's just, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Not
I
very
can still play
effective.
Portal,
No.
Portal with 290X.
Wraithmaster. One thing people love is blinky
Yes.
RGB nonsense. And if you have the Wraith cooler that's shipped with your AMD Ryzen CPU, there's been a command line utility of sorts that you could use in the past, but this gives you a nice little GUI that you can adjust brightness, speed, mode, color, all the fun. Look at it. Look at the horror.
It's so pretty.
No, it's nightmare fuel incarnate. You don't want to touch it. But yeah, if you want to put that nonsense on your cooler to make it blink, you now can. And I thought it was kind of an interesting story. Just my luck. I tried this thing for several hours, couldn't get it to work, but I never took my cooler out of the box. So that's probably why.
That probably explains
yeah.
that.
The dude had to use Windows 10 in a VM with Wireshark and like a little bit of a USB pass-through to get the needed data bits for this. It's a good little story that he put together with his journey. Then he just had to figure out like a way to decrypt the bootleg decimal format that this was in.
Yep.
But once he got that sorted,
Nice.
he was like, bling, bling, RGB, it's great. No.
Well, this is awesome because Linux has become an RGB bling bling big boy now in the modding space. And, we can change the RGB colors on keyboards and mice and now fans. This is wonderful and actually will help adoption of gamers to Linux. So, those people coming over from Windows want all the bling bling when they're playing their games. So now they'll get it on Linux.
You know, if the bling bling is the only thing stopping you from dropping Windows and coming over to Linux, do us
There's
all a
other
favor and
problems.
don't.
Listen, man, you're not a real gamer. Poser.
No, you know, it's cool. It is very cool. I have a Wraith Prism as well. It came with the 3700X, but it's actually on the 1600 in Nori's PC because Nori's PC is the only one with a side window. Well, unless you cut the Steam box.
Yeah.
It's got a little
Windows
fan
are a
grill.
thing of life now. It's not even a luxury item. Like, well, that one comes with a window too. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, you have to go out of your way to find a case without a window.
You do, don't you? That's actually, it's a very, very good cooler. I used that until I moved the 1700 over to the audio duties. And Pedro and I both ended up with like these bizarro side brackets for the Hyper 212s. That put it in the wrong direction, but in the new case, it's got vent holes in the top. It's like, that's fun. Do that. Cool. But now you can make it blink. I have no RGBs on my Noctua cooler, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Should I just paint it like fluorescent body paint and light it up or something?
I painted my Noctua fan, the one that's on the CPU in the Steam box, black.
You're a monster.
So I did a social faux pas there.
Oh, man.
Did you make it matte black or glossy?
The outside was matte black, and the fan itself, the fan blades were glossy.
Nice. Good job.
Look, I needed to do something to pass the time while I was waiting for the stuff to arrive, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, can of spray paint. Oh, beige and brown fan.
Well, I know how to keep you occupied.
I'm easily amused is what I'm saying.
Yeah, take it. All right. On to Blinky, more Blinky stuff.
Yay! So cool. This is Terminal Media Viewer. Yes, it's another video player for the terminal. And so you can view images and videos without leaving the console. And it uses FFmpeg to play videos and YouTube/DL to play YouTube videos. And as they said in the show notes, not all terminals support true color output, so make sure to check the list in the show notes. Otherwise, you will get 256 color,
That
16
is
color,
one pixelated
ANSI,
chungus.
or
Yes.
ASCII playback. And yes, it is pretty pixely, but it's still very, very cool.
But that's
And
why hipsters want to use it. It's
Yeah.
pixely.
Well,
It's retro.
It's got YouTube support.
Yes. I ran the binary in Cool Retro Term to get true color output, and it was off. You have to. It was it was off. It was by default. Cool Retro Term loads with a color theme, so it was running in that color theme, and it ran in bright orange.
I was about to say, how could you even tell through all the nonsense that's loaded in Cool Retro Term?
Yeah. So Cool Retro Term, you just had to turn all the settings off, and then you'll get the classic true color video. And I like these kind of things because, well, I remember in the 90s getting videos to play in console when booting Debian and CLI and using MPlayer to play videos with the AA Live and CAA Live. That was cool, elite hacksaw stuff.
Yeah, I remember installing X in the 90s and using a video player to play it.
Yeah. Well, I actually, boy, my quest was to get, high color in the terminal, and I was.
There's a difference between me and Jill. I wanted to watch the video.
Yeah.
Jill wanted something to play with.
Yeah. Well, I remember installing the frame buffer so I could get higher quality video playback just in CLI, and but it's really nice to have another option out there. And I know my brother in chat would agree. He loved doing this as well.
Nah, man, it's all very cool, but very much like Cool Retro Term. I saw this and I was like, yeah, that's one of those programs that, for me, I play with once and I'll go, oh, it's neat. All right, it's just not.
That's neat. It works. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Cool story,
Aw.
bro. It doesn't have any
Yeah.
long-term usability for me, and you know how hyper inefficient I am.
All things considered, it's a very good implementation of like libav and ffmpeg to re-encode and convert the pixel by pixel output of the video into UTF-8 compliant color blocks, which is why the Big Chungus Rabbit, or however the video was called, that I used to test to see if I could play 4K video on really, really old laptops. But yeah, that's why it looks so blocky, because it's literally a character block, a UTF-8 character block. That's the pixel.
I think it's pretty neat, man. And yeah, with the YouTube stuff, you could definitely set it up to do that 12-hour Gandalf with Epic. Can it do sound?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It could definitely run Lord of the Rings in Terminal.
I know you could do sound, but I think this won't do it.
I didn't see any switches for sound.
This is just for the video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you won't have the epic sax playing in the background as Gandalf nods for 12 hours. Quite unfortunate. Oh, man. I wonder if we can get SRT support so we can...
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant. What's SkyHub?
Yay! So this is so the homebrew search for UFOs just went open source. Yay! This is SkyHub, which is a worldwide public search for unidentified flying objects using a global network of machine learning, smart cameras, and sensor arrays built by you with our open source software. And, this is really, really hot, really good. I think it will help SETI a lot, actually. So, the SkyHub system contains 3 components, the tracker and the sensor array and the cloud, and is powered by an NVIDIA Jetson Nano.
Let's go ahead and get the conspiracy started.
Yeah.
Do you see that right now?
Yeah.
Anybody ever watch Watchmen? Raid Watchmen. Does that look a bit familiar?
Oh, is where they faked the moon landing? I mean, Mars landing?
No, man. I'm just saying, like, a certain doctor might have something like that stamped on their forehead. Oh, right, there he goes. Yes. It took him a second.
It's the dot is in the middle, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to start a conspiracy, but go ahead.
Oh.
No, actually, I forgot my prop because I have a SkyHub. It is a router that Sky gives their DSL clients.
Dude,
so
it's clearly
not aware that
it's a street lamp, Pedro. Possibly small gas.
No, it's just a teeny tiny little black box, but plenty of black boxes around me, but not that particular one.
Well,
but this is still really, really, really cool to have a homebrew version of this, and seriously, I think it really could help SETI in, cataloging all the data of UFOs that are seen in the sky, whether they're terrestrial or not.
That quote that's it displays very prominently at the start of XCOM. I think it was attributed to Mark Twain. I may be off on that one, but it's there are only 2 possibilities. We are alone in the universe, or we are not, and they are both equally as scary.
Yeah, very true.
I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't want to go look. I'll wait and see.
Man, I don't know. It's just like I don't think any life form capable of getting here would be detectable by anything we would aim at it.
And even if they were, they probably went, "Oh, you're still there. Okay, we'll be back in a few million years. Goodbye."
We didn't meet their prime directive. We weren't advanced enough.
Beautiful people, if you want to help us meet our prime directive, you can head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. That's how we finance this nightmare train each and every week, and bringing you 4 or 5 days of content live. We got a couple of levels. We got Chairlings, Death Notes, Sea Monsters. What else? Do I got to see all 6? Yeah.
Yes.
Executive
Because
producers.
Chicago
We got one
kicks
just for
arse.
Yes.
Chicago and advisor
Yeah.
levels, man. If that's not your thing, we do appreciate each and every one of you. Get your name in the credits and all that. You get an extra hour of content from us as thanks or punishment, however you want to look at it. We don't judge. And
Do you really?
yeah, you get to hop in the Discord. We're hanging out there. IRC is always open, completely free. That's what we use during the live stream, but we also have a live audio only version for people in Discord. That's not your gem. We got merch. We got the Elks. We got the Faces. We got the Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. We got Frank, who needs to come back, self-isolating Punk. I know you can hear me. You got the Use Me Penguins. All the
Yes.
fun stuff. Sticky chairs everywheres. And we got a list for the... see that? I was thinking about it. It's not going to happen. Stuff for the studio. And there's also, more importantly, wish list for Pedro, Jordan, and Jill. And I think both of you got some stuff that you need to talk
Yeah,
about.
we sure did.
Yes.
So
Go on, Jill.
yeah, so this is really cool. Pedro got me this cute plushy penguin.
Oh, that's
for
bigger
my
than I
list.
thought. Okay.
Yeah, it's much bigger than I thought too. But it's this very beautiful pink plushy penguin for my birthday, which was last Friday, and I love it very much, Pedro. Thank you so very much. And he
Hope you
wrote
had
me a
a
note.
happy cake day. That came a bit too late.
Oh, but still, that was Amazon's fault, not yours. So, yeah, on the note, you said "Happy Cake Day," so I have to read
Yes.
it. And the other thing that everyone did for my birthday, Strider, Mir PPC, Artherin, Linux Gnaru gifted me and spoiled me with a lot of Steam games. Thank you so much. That was it was so wonderful. You know, was a wonderful
Now,
birthday
what you
despite
missed,
the
what you missed
quarantine.
was in Discord. Because I remember months and months ago, I had a chat with Jill. I'm like, yo, you send that wish list. Because I was getting ready to get Jill something on her wish list. And I'm like, man, you just wish listed everything, period.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't know what to get you. And I'm just going to get you something random. However, kudos to Strider and everybody else, those brave soldiers that just pick something. Like, yeah.
Yep. I mean, Amazon kind of made that choice for me. It's like, oh, you're in the UK, are you? Well, you can only buy this one. It's like, all right,
Cute.
Jill's getting another penguin plushie.
Hey, man. Is that right side up or upside down?
Yeah, it's swimming.
It's
I
what?
keep swimming. I keep swimming.
Penguin's eyes are on the bottom?
Oh, sorry. I had it upside down.
Okay.
There it is. No, it's swimming.
Honestly, I think it works both ways.
Yes.
Like a cotton tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, because penguins do swim upside down as well.
Right. Oh, hang on. We still got Pedro.
Yes.
Go back.
Yes.
Just a quick one from Haplo, one of our two advisors. Thank you very much. Fans are incredibly necessary. Please enjoy this for reasons. And this is a USB fan. It's actually the one that I added to my wish list last Thursday because it got a bit warm. And I remembered it's like, oh yeah, I need a desk fan. Something that's not terribly loud, but, you know, cools me down. And it's like, oh, this one's got good reviews. So I put it on my wish list. It's like, when the heat does decide to stay, I'll get it. Well, the Haplo got ahead of the game there. Thank you.
Yay,
So what's it
Haplo,
like
we
ringing
love
up your
you.
mom and going, oh, yeah, it's going to like get up to 20 today. It's hot. And just, can you feel her like vibrating with laughter?
No, it's usually my mom who calls and says, do you know how hot it got here today? It's like, no. 34 is like, all right, okay.
Man. That's brilliant. Thanks, everyone.
Yay.
That's really cool stuff. Now, this is, I don't know, man. This is kind of like the old Eldrick pie looking type
Yeah.
thing, man. I don't know if I'd eat that. But there's a new version of Ubuntu.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the Linux community will be happy about this. Ubuntu 2004 LTS is now certified for the Raspberry Pi. Yay! And this means that it will just work out of the box on the Raspberry Pi, be easily flashed, have frequent updates, and have Canonical's 10-year support. And that's a really, really big deal. Yeah, it's nice to have another solid operating system for the Raspberry Pi. And this also includes the Raspberry Pi 2 Model B and up, and as well as the Compute Module 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I've actually tested it. Ubuntu server runs beautifully on the Raspberry Pis. I'm not sure if I'd run the regular desktop with the full GNOME. I'd probably go to a different window manager, but it does run on the GNOME does run on these Pis. So, but the server is really great because, many people prefer it over the stock Raspbian for web server, cloud, and Docker projects. So this is really sweet.
I don't know, man.
About it.
It might get in the way of my Windows 10. Can you? Is that still a thing?
Yes, that if you download, what is it, Noobs?
Yeah.
You can set it up to install Windows 10.
I remember seeing the announcement for Windows 10 on Pi 8. And my first genuine, heartfelt reaction was, is it already April?
Even the full known desktop is still a lot lighter than running Windows on the Pi.
I mean, you could maybe get away with the GNOME version if you have a 3B plus or a 4 with at least 2 gigs of RAM and you enable the GLX rendering on the Pi. Yeah, you might be able to get away with GNOME 3 on that.
Yes, definitely.
Right. How could they go about telling us about their Pi purchases and playful... Okay, I'm out of peas.
Well, if you're out of peas, good. That stuff makes me break out into hives. But hey, if you did do a bit of a project with some peas that somehow involved Linux, by all means, send us some pictures of it. Go to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button. There's a little forum that you need to fill. Just, be very, very careful, because if you don't pick LWDW in the little show box, it might turn into some hate mail for that foul-mouthed Saturday show, What We Do.
That's definitely a thing, man. Share the love, all that fun stuff. We love to get your feedback. We got to run on that and wait for it. And this one came in through like the main line. You can always send us a message on Patreon. If you're helping us out, we're like, yo, all right, we'll get back to you. And I especially like this one because it's talking some smack.
Yeah.
A little bit of smack. Oh, maybe a little lot of smack.
Yes.
So after listening to the latest LWW, I realized that no matter what DE Pedro is using, it has problems and freezes, and he ends up talking smack about it. My analysis is that Pedro can't use a computer, and he's the problem. Smiley face. From now on, all of Pedro's opinions about DEs should be ignored. Keep up the great work. That was funny to Ventor.
Pedro,
if you were paying attention to my opinions, that's your problem.
Yeah, and it was timely for today's topic.
Everyone can join me in just asking you one thing, Pedro. Leave Denmark alone.
Are you trying to take Scott's and Jordan's place as the bad pun person?
No, I'm trying to prevent you from attacking innocent countries, Pedro.
No, I don't usually talk about XFCE. I don't even usually talk about Mate.
You wouldn't talk about XFCE. It just works. It's boring. Like, it's stupid. I don't like
this. That's the thing. So, yeah, Mate is a very good desktop environment. Really, the only issues I ever had with it specifically were compositor related, because the default compositor wasn't very good. But hey, guess what? Compton fixes that. You know what else Compton fixes? XFCE's compositing problem. So, yeah.
Pedro likes KDE, so
I do. I like
Plasma's pretty.
in specific. I like KWin's advanced window rules. You can literally set each and every single window specifically to a specific area, to a specific screen at a specific coordinate. It's like,
and somehow that justifies like crashes.
To be fair, the only thing that crashes is the compositor.
Oh, well, pasha.
Hey, XFC 414. Okay.
What about it? I don't run a compositor anymore. I can't see you from the top of this tower, Pedro. Say that again.
I keep KWin compositing disabled, and I use Compton.
Use Compton. Everything tries to be Compton.
Just use Compton or PyCom.
Actually, just go back to using Compton. It's less resource intensive and it runs faster. I tried
like Marco
PyCom.
too.
I did. All right, beautiful people. We got to roll out of here. We will see you next week. Reek? Yes.
Yeah.
Next Reek.
Next week.
No, Reek.
Oh, Portheon Greyjoy.
Reek. Let's roll some credits. Hey, I waited till the credits.
Good on
Yay,
it.
then.
Was it me or Jill?
Jill won that one.
Okay. Yay, Jill. Go on, you can say it. You started, might as well.
Aw. Thank you, Haplo, our wonderful advisor, and thank you for
Double thank you.
the fan. You said
Daniel, we got Chris,
bro.
Admiral JT, Linux New,
Yeah.
System T, Nick, Ryan, Kazuk, the Soldad,
Linux
Ranger,
Guru,
Freedom
Abstraction.
Penguin, J-Girl,
Steiner Svenheim.
Oxford, comma,
Dosky,
Costa. Greg. Mr. Amish.
222.
Art Baron,
Don't step on blue.
and Foxdog. Mere PPC.
I mean, we can cheat. We can just read off
Strider,
the
otherwise
Discord
known
user
as
list
Lutris.
there.
Creator Matthew.
That penguin's still upside down, yeah.
No, it's right side up this time.
Yes, the eyes are on the bottom on that one, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. See its little feet.
The beak's above the eyes.
Yes. Oh, it's a cute kawaii penguin.
I'm just saying, man, if I ran across a penguin, like the beak was up here and his eyes were down there. Peace, I'm out. I'm gone. You can have it.
You know that picture of the penguin like opening its mouth towards the camera?
Oh, yeah.
That the eyes appear like they're in the middle of the beak? It's kind of like that.
I don't know. It's a stuffed animal. There's no upside, downside to it. It's whatever side you want to believe.
Yes.
Wear deodorant, kids. That shouldn't be an option.
Seriously, humans after a good 12 hours of activity, they don't smell nice. Wear deodorant.
One thing they never get right at the Renaissance fairs. The smell. And trust me, it's a good thing
Yeah,
they
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
only
trying to
smells
be
of
in character
food
with the times.
And drinks and the candies and all the sweet stuff. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Google, what can you tell me of this?
Yeah, right. I mean, right?
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 Scoots. Hmm.
Oh, man. Now I'm actually curious as to what type of crap's in this. I've opened this box once. I have, man, I do.
Oh, look, motherboard and screws. Thank you.
Frighteningly. I have a Wi-Fi card. Anybody need one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to install that. This is a fan holder for the, English word. VRM.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It can, like, hold up to a 240. It's got, like, adjustments on it.
Wow. I think I saw one 200 millimeter fan live once. And it's like, that's huge.
Well, I mean, not in... Oh. I guess I've been in here once or twice before. What was it? The, this plastic piece for a TR4. It's got LN2 jumpers on it, so...
Clearly they were targeting it at that crowd that runs it out of a box with all of the bling bling.
RGB, baby.
Yeah.
With a pot on it, they just want to see the RGBs shine around it there.
I don't know, man. That's definitely a thing. I honestly would almost bet money that, like, the LN2 choppers, it doesn't do anything. It's not even wired to anything. It's just so you can look at it and be like, yeah, see? It's a thing.
Can you get away with that? Just putting stuff there and labeling it as such, and then it
right
not
up until
working?
somebody tries it, you can.
Fair.
Worst case scenario, what are you going to get? 2, possibly 3 RMAs?
Yeah, it's like the GPL. You don't actually have to share the source until someone asks for it.
And BMW will give you the source code. It just takes about 8 months, and they'll ship it to you on a DVD.
Oh, that's what contempt looks like. Okay.
They will give it to you.
Yeah, Mir, those are good fans too.
Somebody needs to give that fan a sandwich.
But they are nice and quiet.
Skinny.
So I guess yours is not quiet, Mir. Mine is. I do have... Actually, I have 2 of those.
Nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet fans, man.
Oh. Yeah, I have a couple of those in one of my servers, but it's got a very thick metal case on it, so might be one of the reasons I don't hear it. But they seem to be pretty quiet.
Yeah, the two 140 millimeter fans that I have on the top of my case don't make any sound. Even spinning, I think full blast is like 1200 RPM, which, you know, for 140 millimeters, it's fast, but they don't make any sound. It's like,
yeah.
How?
I can get the wind noise going in the Threadripper case because I have 1, 2, 3, 5 140s.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the front of the case only supports 120s and, yeah, 3 120s in the front, 1 in the back, and the top you can have up to 3 140s.
I tried to live that life, man. I was like, I'm going to put some exhaust ones up. It's like, that's unnecessary. I mean, convection will take care of that.
It helps if you have the Hyper 212 Evo that you can only mount horizontally, parallel to the video card. It's like, oh, look at all of that exhaust now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And interesting side effect of having to have the Hyper 212 mounted like that, it cools the video card. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It
They're
pulls
very
the hot
good.
air
Yeah.
away from the video card, through the fins, and at the top. Yeah, the like 100% workload nonstop on the 1080 with this the cooler mounted like that, 69 Celsius. That's as high as it goes. With a clock of like 1865 megahertz on the GPU, stable. It's like,
Very nice.
okay. You put the fan sideways. It's like 72, 73. It's like, all right, okay.
Man, those fan curves, especially in this 2060, are very. It's like NVIDIA, you're gonna melt this thing trying to keep it quiet. Wind it up. You know, get this dual radial fans. I mean, on full bore, you can hear it outside the room, man.
Oh, the 1650 that Arthur got me.
Yeah.
As soon as those fans get to like 50%, it's like, oh, hello there, 40 millimeter fans. How you doing? They're not like, you know, deafeningly loud, but it's like, no, that's a screeching fan right there.
Yeah, noise is. I don't know, man. I mean, I honestly thought we would have moved to something more efficient, but air, man, air works.
Yeah.
Doesn't have too many moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your air breaks, you have other issues.
Air doesn't spring leaks.
Yeah,
again.
that's a
I got a balloon that would argue with you.
yeah. I've played around with liquid cooling, but I just because the air cooling is so good now, especially with the newer fans. It's just having
Water
a
cooling's
really
a
neat
phase
tune.
everyone goes through.
Yeah.
You usually grow
I
out
did
of it
that
by the age of
years ago.
27.
I was broke when I was going through that phase that I wanted to do that, so I couldn't do it. And now that I'm at this point, it's like, I could probably... No. Hyper 212 Evo, 3700X, 65 watt TDP. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a project. It was a take it lay. With the efficiency, now building one was fun, you know, sourcing marine pumps and, you know, milling my own water block. That was interesting. Getting a plexiglass, getting all that sealed. And you know, really didn't understand a lot about thermals, but it worked. But like getting an AIO out of a package and like, that's a lot of extra stuff that could go wrong. For not much of how much of a delta between that and
Can't remember who it was that did the comparison. I think it might have been Jay from Jay's Two Cents.
Oh yeah.
That did like high-end AIOs versus high-end air coolers. It's like, oh, so the Noctua and the Dark Rock Pro 4 perform about on par as like the high-end 240 mil AIO. It's like, oh. Okay.
And I'm going to say, for being a cooler, it was eye-wateringly expensive. This
Yeah, that's the one.
14
Yep, there it is.
US or in whatever it is. But I mean, it can cool with red rubber. Keep it cool, man. What are we running at right now? 52? That's after a show?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the NH D15s, and even if you're going for like the Hyper 212 Evo equivalent from Noctua, the 12, UH12, I think it is. It's like, okay, goddamn Noctua, you nailed it.
Well, I mean, as long as it's a liquid, the thermal conductivity, even if it's ethanol, it's going to be
Yeah.
serviceable. You're going to have to deal with more evaporation than anything else.
Yeah, that would be a thing.
And actually keeping the pressure around the joints.
You haven't lived until you've concrete cooled a PC.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
Linus that did that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
It
Oh my
was
gosh,
working
I forgot
great.
about that.
Until it stopped.
Until
And
you cut it
the
off,
cement
yeah.
set it.
Yeah. Quickcrete, man.
It's like, oh. All of a sudden we just have a bunch of tubes full of cement.
Oof. I don't really mess around with cooling anymore. I mean, I don't overclock stuff anymore, do I? I'm old, man. Okay, memory, but that doesn't
yes.
count with rice. You do that out of the box.
The XMP
anyway.
profile
Yeah,
is like, oh, hello. There.
pretty much. It's that and like bump another thing and you're done. But
Or lower the timings if you happen to get like CL18 memory.
dryer hose. I think I remember seeing you posting a picture of that.
Yeah, that description rings a bell.
It's not practical, Arthur, and it's reliability, stability, sustainability.
And whenever I hear stories, it's like, oh, this AIO was using this liquid composition that's mostly propylene glycol and mostly something else, and the something else went bad. It's like, okay.
There it is. There's Scott's first sex robot.
Yep. To be fair, my Core 2 Duo PC, by the end, it had a fan on the side panel, which apparently is a thing that's making a comeback now. And I had to have that fan cranked because otherwise it would overheat and shut down. That was a very loud PC that I had.
I had a K6 too that you couldn't do a kernel compile unless you took the side case off and put a box fan on. That was the only way it would do it. Period. Everything else fine. I could build a gun, do daily computing tasks, whatever, play games.
Yeah.
I wanted to get through a kernel compile. Had to do that. Talk about some troubleshooting until you get that.
My first attempt at water cooling a PC, and it did work, was my K63. And I still have it over there. It's since emptied the water out of it, of course. It just has fans in it now, but it worked.
If they ever make low-profile AIOs,
Yeah.
I might fit one of them into the Steam box.
No. Well,
But
yeah,
they have
that
to
would
be,
really help
like,
with that.
5 centimeters tall at the most. That's it.
To touch back on one of
yeah.
the things you were talking about, Pedro,
I do,
with
Mir,
water
yes.
cooling, especially with AIOs. I was thinking about getting the Threadripper at the time, and they were just coming out decently. The one with the full cold plate, which was the Intermax Lithtech.
Yep.
The one where they have 100% failure rate.
Because the liquid was...
Yep. That's what I would ended up with. Worst case scenario with the Noctua, a fan didn't spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if both of the fans just, stopped out of the blue, it's like, it's still got a pretty chunky bit of heat pipes and aluminum to dissipate the heat. So you'll at least go, why is it suddenly so warm in here? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
let's bring that down.
Right there, and that's just letting you know that Jill won the Jitsi challenge this week.
sometimes it happens before the show. Sometimes it happens right in the middle of a segment.
Fortunately, now I have the X-Touch 1, because I have how game-changing it is to have a dedicated button that I can reach over and tap, and it'll put a marker on the time code. Like, there's no, oh, I need to write that down. Oh, okay. Because before that, it was keeping a little sliver of gedit on the desktop and trying to remember, as opposed to being in the middle of talking. I can't stop doing what I'm doing or switching or moving. I'd have to stop and type. Now it's like, boop, tap that real quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
going back to the audio, it's like, boom, there's my marker. Neat. Oh, so sounds like we're gonna go make a pop. What's that? Oh, explore public servers. No, thank you, Discord. I'm good.
So is Discord sending us all a message? Oh wait, it's public service, not community service.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh man. What do you got going on tonight, Pedro? Anything fun?
Might pound some steaks.
Okay.
Got some chunky rump steaks, so I might have to take the meat tenderizer that I've used the whole of 3 times, I think.
I don't own a meat tin. I know that's not a shock to most of you, but I don't even think I would be bothered to use it. I'm like, whatever.
We got it in Poundland.
Yeah.
Because, oh, it's a pound. It's like, oh, wait a second, this is all metal. Huh. So yeah, no, after a very thorough cleaning, it actually does a very good job. It's like, okay, that's now much flatter.
And tender. I mean, you could just like soak it in some soda water.
Or put like slice a pineapple, drop it, like sandwich it in between 2 pineapple slices. Or lemon juice and let it sit for 30 minutes.
Why would you do it between 2 pieces? To embarrass it into becoming tender?
It if you don't mind the taste, a very slight pineapple-y, sweet-ish aftertaste.
That would be good.
It's actually very good.
Right on. Jill, are you doing anything today?
Yes. So gonna go get some lunch. I don't know. We might go walk somewhere and get some takeout. But gotta do my exercise, and then after that I'm gonna have fun. We're gonna have a Linux Chicks gaming night tonight, and we haven't done that in years, so it'll be fun. We're thinking of playing 2 of us playing Portal 2 together, or golf with your friends. So I think that'd be fun.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
It is past 4, so I'm gotta get to work.
Bye, everyone.
Nice.
Have fun.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, some heavy metal piano.
Heavy metal or meatloaf?